What up, though? It's your girl Adrian from AP Inspired 78, and I want to welcome you to my channel. If you are new here, I talk everything lifestyle, motivation, and money. The goal of this channel is to encourage you to live your very best life every single day, one day at a time. So on this video, I will be talking about money. I want to share with you why I have separate bank accounts in order to keep my finances organized. If you've been following me on this channel, you know I'm all about budgeting and saving money. So to have separate bank accounts, for me, it gives me security. I remember years ago, I went to the gas station and I swiped my card like regular, and someone had a card reader on it and took my information. Luckily for me, I had another bank account in which I could use that money if I needed to for groceries or whatnot, because it does take a few days for the bank to reimburse you when someone is trifling enough to take your money out of your account. So that is why I do not have all of my eggs in one basket, for that one reason. Your money should be in your bank account, not in somebody else's hand. And that experience also encouraged me to purchase these RFID card holders, because people can just literally walk past you and get your card information, but this secures your card so that no one can take your information and steal your money out of your bank account. So currently I have 9 different bank accounts. Yes, 9 different bank accounts, but they're spread out over 3 different banks. 2 are local branches and 1 is online. So you may be wondering, Adrian, like, girl, why do you have so many bank accounts? It is because I got one time. Yes, I got. Luckily for me, I did have a separate bank account at that time. I didn't have 9. I know I'm an extreme person, but I did have a separate bank account at that time, and I was able to use that bank account because it does take the current bank, whichever bank that they took your money from, it does take them a few days in order to reimburse you, because they have to do some research to make sure you're not lying. So in that meantime, if I needed anything else, I can always refer back to the other bank account. And for me personally, I like to take money from my own self as opposed to using a credit card. And no, I'm not opposed to using credit cards, don't get me wrong, but I use cash envelopes. I live a cash life for the most part, and so my budget, I try to do a zero-based budget. So if someone tries to hack into my bank account and take my money, that's messing up my budget. So I need a backup plan, and we're going to get into all of my different bank accounts and why I use each one of them. 2 years ago, I was at a furniture store, and I had a gift card at the time, and it was not protected in one of these card holders, because I just didn't think that because it wasn't connected to a bank that it would be that important to protect it. But somebody went past me and took the information off of the gift card. When I went to the register to pay for my items, the lady said deny, basically. And I was like, no, it has like $500 on it. And she was like, no, it doesn't. So I had to put my items back, which is totally embarrassing. And I had to go to my car and call the car. And they said that there were several different purchases at Kroger's and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I haven't even been to Kroger's. And so any card that you have in your purse or wallet, if you are watching this video, I want to encourage you to purchase some of these card holders and put them in your purse or your wallet, because there are thieves out there that want your information, that want your money, because apparently they have like way too much time on their hands. So I want to encourage you to protect yourself at all costs so that my story won't become your story. I do not think credit cards are bad. Like, for many credit cards, you can get points, and points do add up. I know someone also says don't use credit cards because only poor people use credit cards, and I get that, but I'm not rich, so I don't mind using a credit card to get points. You just have to be very disciplined in order to pay your credit card off. You can't just keep swiping and build another bill that's going to get you back into debt. Now, if you want to use your credit card for points because they can add up, you can take trips or whatnot, I am all for that. Live your very best life. Just stay on top of it so it doesn't get out of hand and you end up in debt. I know for me, one example of a great reason why I had to use my credit card is when I was in LA a few years ago. I had all my money saved and I put it on my debit card, my bank debit card. I even called the bank before I went on my vacation and said, yo, I'm going to California. It is me that will be making these transactions. So do you need to document anything that says like Adrian is in California? And they were like, no, you should be fine. It has the chip on it, so we'll know it's you. And so I had my Uber connected to my debit card at that time, and we were going all through California enjoying our vacation, and we were in some part of LA, tried to use the Uber, and they were like, your card is locked. What do you mean my card is locked? I am in LA and my hotel is nowhere near where we are. So luckily for me, I had my credit card and I was able to switch my Uber information to the credit card that I had, you know, in my wallet, so that we can get out of LA back to the hotel. So I want to say this up front, I am not opposed to credit cards. Just be wise when you use them. So let's jump right into why I use separate bank accounts in order to keep my finances organized. So besides me having trust issues because of that gas station situation, like, I am an extremist and I do everything big. I bank with 3 different banks. 2 have physical locations and 1 is online. By having so many accounts along with me using my cash envelopes, it helps me to track my spending and stay on budget. So let's talk about my 9 different accounts and how I have divided them. Each one serves a different purpose. Disclaimer: I do not add money to each of these accounts every time I get paid. But one thing that is consistent is that I do contribute $500 from my pay to my cash envelopes every paycheck. In this video, I'm not going to go too much into my cash envelopes. If you're interested in that, I'll share the link to that video right here. So bank number 1 houses 4 different accounts. First one is my checking account, my bills account. This is where my paycheck goes, and it also houses my buffer after I take out all of my money from my cash envelopes and my sinking fund. Where the money resides, where the money resides. Some of my bills in this account are on auto pay. That means I don't have to really worry about having to go and pay them online. They just come out directly. But then I do have some bills that I go in and I pay them myself. So my main checking account, this is where I pay the mortgage, utilities. I do take gas out of this. I take out my cash envelope money. I take out my sinking fund money. And I also take out my money challenges from this account. This one also houses any reoccurring subscription. Now, if I ever go out and I forget to bring my cash envelopes, my checking account, my main checking account, it has a buffer in it. Now, I try to keep $1,000 in that. Sometimes I can, sometimes I don't. Just being real. For example, I wanted Chick-fil-A the other day. I did not bring my eating out envelope because I just didn't think that I was going to use it. But I was hungry and I was able to use the money in my buffer in order to pay for that meal. Buffers are important. If you do not have a buffer in your checking account, I want to encourage you today to try to have a buffer in your checking account. In your budget, if you're doing a zero-based budget, just add buffer into that budget. That way, even that money is accounted for. Now, my main checking account, I check that one every single day, maybe like multiple times a day, because you just never know. There's some people out there that have a lot of time on their hands. And so because they do, I want to check my account to make sure my money is where it's supposed to be.
You will not catch me slipping again.
So my next account is my savings account. This account houses my emergency fund. Every paycheck, I do transfer a certain amount of money into this account. But recently, I had a lot of home repairs that needed to be done, so my emergency fund is wiped out right now. If you're interested in that vlog and seeing how my day went, you can check out the link right here. So in this savings account, I also try to have $1,000. This money is different than the liquid cash money that I have at home. I am just a firm believer that you should have some cash at home because you just never know what can happen and you need to be prepared. And I also want to add that this savings account also acts as a buffer for my checking account. So say if my checking account runs low, I do have it already automated through the bank that it will already take money out of the savings account and transfer it into my checking so that I don't ever run into insufficient funds. So yes, that's 2 buffers so far. 1,000 in my checking and 1,000 in my savings, and that can fluctuate depending on what I have going on in my life. Now in that same bank, I do have 2 more different accounts. Now these accounts hold my children's bank accounts. They have debit cards. At my bank, when you turn 13, you can open up a teenager's bank account, and so when they turn 13, I was able to open them up a debit card and I'm able to transfer money into their accounts. Now these 2 accounts I opened up for my boy. so that they can have their own debit card. Because I am teaching them early to live a debt-free life, so as they're growing up and their balances are increasing, they can use their debit cards as opposed to using a credit card in the future. So let's say they're off at college and they want to buy a pizza. There's no need to use a credit card because you already have a debit card. And if you're like me, when you're a freshman, credit card companies send representatives to college campuses to just lure these poor little freshmen into getting different credit cards. And I don't want them to have that type of life. Both accounts are attached to mine, so I can easily transfer money from my account to theirs. And I'm also able to see any transactions that may occur in their accounts. Both of the boys' different debit accounts is used to help them to manage their money. These accounts are to teach them and help them to be responsible with money. When they are grown, they can open up their own accounts and we can cancel these. So my next bank account houses where my child support goes. Yes, I am very grateful that I do receive child support, and I am a firm believer that child support is for the children. Currently, I am sending the money to invest in 2 different single stocks for the future of my children. The money in those stocks will be used to help me to pay for college when they get older. If there's any money left over in that account, I use that for any clothes or any shoes or anything else that they may want. Kids always need something. Savings account number 2, bank number 2. This account houses my youngest son's college education fund. This is different than the bank account that I mentioned earlier, which is his debit card. He uses that if he wants to buy anything, groceries or whatnot, when he gets older and he's on campus. The goal of these college fund bank accounts is to help me to pay for books or anything else that's needed for their college career. Fingers crossed, we won't have to use this money much because the boys are making really good grades in school, so we are praying for a full ride to any college or university that they may choose. And if that's the case, we'll just reallocate the money and they can use it for something else. Bank number 3. My online bank. My online bank, I have 3 different accounts attached to it. The first one is my vacation fund, and we're not going on vacation right now, so there is not a lot of money in there. I don't really focus too much on that account, but I do add money to my cash envelope vacation fund. I use both of them when I do go on vacation because I believe that you should have cash and that you should have a debit card, because some places don't allow you to use one or the other. And because vacations have been canceled in our life right now, I'm just saving up money for when we do go. Now this houses my oldest son's college fund. And for the same reasons that I mentioned earlier for his younger brother, the same reasons apply to him. Books and other college expenses. Bank account number 3, my baby. Now this one houses my living expenses fund. My main goal for 2021 is to save 1 year of living expenses, and that money goes into this account. Currently, I am at 46% at meeting my goal. Any extra money that I have, I put it in this account because that is my main goal for this year. At the end of the year, all of my money challenges, except my 52 weeks, I will use my 52 weeks challenge for Christmas purchases. So all of the money will go into this account so that I can reach my goal. So if you're interested in checking out all of my money challenges and how I'm saving toward my goal, you can click on this link right here. So in conclusion, I don't really check all of my different accounts every day, but my main checking account, yes, like I stated earlier, I check that multiple times in a day. The other ones, I just look at them maybe at the end when I do my end of the month totals. The good thing about my accounts is that now I have alerts set up. So anytime $1 is taken out of my account, I get an alert. And that helps me to stay on top of my spending and any withdrawals. If you are not checking your accounts daily, I want to encourage you to do so because things happen. And I don't want anything that happened to me to happen to you. So there we have it, all of my 9 different accounts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, I encourage you to do so right now. I post videos every Friday and every Sunday, and I am on a financial journey and I want to take you along with me. Feel free to check out either one of my IG accounts, Budget Be Faithful or AP Inspire 78. Well, until the next video, you take care.